Japan's Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Testing 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 1, 2, 3. Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Alan, a reptile. I know what you're thinking. Not really, because nobody knows where I exist. Honestly, I'm here, on this different side and different corner because I'm stuttering. Fuck, I'm stuttering. All right. Anyways, I put this camera on this side because it needed to charge, and I forgot to charge it. So I said, you know what, fuck it, I just want to bring this out over here. Truthfully, I'm gonna keep it real with you today. It's gonna be pretty much of a short stream right now, and I want to bring it out to you guys because I have to I'm keeping it still on my behalf. So I gotta look for have some family business to deal with. So the stream won't be as long as usual. Probably won't be a 2-hour thing. I mean, it's a topic I'm going to talk about too. It's going to be that, and then also I'm going to be graphic designing at the same time. And within that, it's like it's going to be a lot of downloading for sure. It's going to be a lot of PNG vectoring and all that other kind of shit that's going to happen. Otherwise, too, it's going to be I'm going to be talking. I got some stuff I have to be ready for. I'm a little bit low for myself, so I'm also I gotta do my own things. I gotta do job searches and all that stuff. I just recently did a job trying to do some resume job searchings right now. It's a hard task. It's a hard task, to be real with you. I already updated my freaking my resume, my portfolio on the graphic design stuff. Though I do want to do art more as such. I haven't done Patreon, but yet I still get lazy about it. Right now it's kind of difficult right now. Plus I have a father of mine right now. He's going under surgery, so I need to give prayers, and I want to make this thing kind of short to not really care about, I don't want to mind doing this all the time. I gotta care about the life, because I let this be a lesson. I mean, he's okay, he's not dying, but he's going to have a surgery on his heart. So I have to have prayers. Please give me prayer. I gotta give my father a prayer. I gotta give prayer to my own self, and hopefully nothing happens. No, everything goes well. Everything goes straight. Plus, I let it be a lesson that, don't take too much sugar. Don't get too stubborn. Stubbornness leads us to, calamity, to such consequences. And I am a very stubborn person. I'll tell you that. I'm a very, very stubborn person. But either ways, we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be talking about a very, 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 very good. A very interesting topic that not many people has talked about. It's running all over on Twitter X. It's running all over on mostly all throughout social media, though YouTube has been keeping it silent or trying to overshadow it, saying, hey, this is a good news. They did it well. They done it better than what we did and all that kind of good shit. But it's not the place to be. I'll tell you that. A lot of propaganda is going around these days. You know what I'm saying? Lots of propaganda. Either ways, we're gonna be talking about it, and then I'm gonna be also bringing about the migrant crisis. I mean, it's already 14 minutes ago. I know I didn't put up the camera much earlier because I had to talk with my with my mother because my father's in the hospital and he's got to do a surgery because he's got a pressure strain in his heart. So it's gonna be quite difficult. But I hope I'm doing my best prayer and trying to make this good as well as possible for my father's sake. You know, man, I don't want to lose him, or I really don't want to lose him like that. None of us. So, three of us are gonna do their best. Do the best of ourselves. By the ways, I hope you guys enjoy these kind of things. I hope you guys, anyone, because I reached 111 subscribers. I reached 111 subscribers on YouTube. Though not to mention too, I'm already 1,233 subscribers already in Instagram. All right. X, not so much because I goon too much on X. That's my goon. That is my social media app to find information, but it's also a very gooning app. So keep it that it is. But if you want to subscribe to my Twitter X, come right in, boy. Come right in. Anyways, we're gonna be doing I gotta do this request right now on Hispanic Heritage Month. I don't know, for some reason I'm trying to upload this shit and it's not letting me. Like, I'm going to the Facebook ad. I'm trying to do, doing the request to create a page. They gave me a paper already to create it and like create and upload it, but for some reason it's not letting me. Like I've already let it for hours already and it's saying it still needs to upload. It still needs to upload. Hold up a second. So I think I have to delete this page. I'm gonna have to delete this page and then redo it the whole thing again. Goddamn. Sup? We got Cobra Cat. How's it going, Cobra Cat? What the fuck should I do? Honestly, I'm gonna have to redo the whole business. I mean, I already got like a deadline coming in, but for some reason, why? Why is this not letting me? Why? Come on, bro. I already did the dates, links. I haven't done this description yet, pero I mean, let me try to upload something. Oh, actually, I do have to do the background. So now I'm gonna do the background. I'm gonna do the background right now. So okay, no, I can't. I don't know. Google doesn't. I don't want Google to do this. All right. Okay. Villa. Hold up a second. Let's do this. I'm gonna do this. Graphics. Right, and then like this, and no, actually, like kind of like this, because I kind of understand. So get the fuck out of here. So I do understand that if this makes better sense, I'm just gonna upload this shit right here, right here. Should I? No. And then just like, kind of like, just extravate. Maybe a little too much. What am I? Okay, maybe. Nah, this looks like gay shit. Look like gay shit. Right here. Thank you. I just need this. needs to. Maybe I'm gonna need to darken this shit. And then maybe I think this one needs to fall into a little more bluer in such a sense. Or just kind of like do it like a shade right here. Or nah. Because I'm trying to do a Hispanic heritage thing. I'm trying to do Hispanic heritage things. I just gotta get the elements right. Ah, damn that fucking thing. Not tailbone. Ouch. God damn. Other ways. I knew I had this. So what else? Okay, so I don't have to check it out right here. Just or well, maybe so. Apúrese, Camilo, apúrese. No tiene tiempo. I don't have much time right now. Okay, good. So take that out. I'm gonna need silhouettes. Vector silhouettes. Hispanic vector silhouette. Oh to God, I need free. Or Hispanic town. Ah, almost there. Or it's time to call in the AI. No. Let's see. Kind of like this, but something a little more like, kind of like this. Spanish colonial architecture, like that. I think I like that one. So I can recognize it. We got POVW now. Yep, you got the POV, yo. Doing this here. I gotta upload it. That's why. Mind you, too. I'm gonna keep you a reminder too. This is gonna be a very small stream. I want to say that once again. It's gonna be kind of small because I got some very stuff to do. Not just this. I had to kind of give it as something personal. Plus, check out my new haircut. It's Puerto Rican. Let's see. I got you. Trying to get to a really good one. A really, really good one. God. Damn. Yes, this one's good. Fuck! You serious, man? Serious, man? This dick has to be paid, right? Nigga, I'm working. Oh my God, please give me a Spanish one. No, you can't find it? Where is it? Via. Shit, man. Where are your vias? Spanish colonial architectures. Okay, how about this? Colonial Spanish architectures. No. What am I saying? Oh my god. Shit. Architecture. Okay, architecture. Spanish colonial fucking architecture, yo. Anyways, how's everything going over the UK, sir? How's everything going in the UK? How's everything going around the world? Shit, where are... Man, I can't even go find a good one. But this shit is paid for. Why? Give me free. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Over here, Hispanic Heritage Month 20. Okay. This is a way to kind of make the project go. Yes, that's true. I gotta save this project too. Oh yeah, I really gotta save this project. Oh god. H 26. Yeah. Japanese illustrator. Oh shit. What's that? I guess so. Anyways, yeah. Sorry about that. Shit. Okay, so now I want to get your ass here. No, I already did. And I caught your ass like a flying insect. Take your ass here. Alright, there you go. Take your ass here. Get the fuck out of here! Oh man. I'm trying to make it noisy as possible. Thank God my no one's at the house today, so I'm able to scream it out of my lungs. Usually I'll be like, like that, because you know, someone's outside. Someone's in the living room watching television. I don't want to interrupt them, so I have to keep it quiet. I have to keep that shit quiet. What do you gotta be doing? But today I'm jumping around. I can take your ass into that shit. Now we can edit it in Photoshop. Remove background. So how you do that? Nothing. Okay, good. That's why. As expected. I take it to Photoshop. So I'm doing two things. You're able to do Illustrator and then to Photoshop. Photoshop to Illustrator, this, that. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna go that. Okay. So, my fellow peoples of the world, you know, there is a moment. Well, we do have topics of interest that should be not needed to be the loud voice. Now, in the wake of my life, I I've been to many travels around the world, and maybe I have not seen many much cultures, even though ironically, the United States is a very multicultural city. So why go to one country of a specific culture? You got the cultures right there in front of you. Though that's really not. It's not as the same as actually going to the motherland. I've seen that before my own eyes. I really did. Um, I have did talked about how we did make streams two streams, you know, two streams of me listening to Wade Davis, and within that, like you had people say, like, well, not really many people, but there are people who wanted to question what it is to be on a person's work or a person's version of interest. Now, is whether it's you thinking that way or I somewhat brought it out, I don't know which else. I do say this. I remember going to when I was in Spain. I was there the first time I went out a place that is not Ecuador, that is not another city in the United States. I did went to the Caribbean. I visited the Caribbean as a kid. I didn't go to Mexico. I wanted to go to Mexico. I didn't think of going to Mexico. I wanted to go somewhere north. I wanted to, my parents took me to Europe. I was very, I was, it was an amazing experience, about beautiful Europe. I was very, I guess, overshared with the vastness, with the Christian elements that's already been introduced to me in my family. And Christianity was a vital part of every Hispanic family there is, especially in Spain. So I went to cities like Ceuta. No, not really. So I went to cities like Seville, Madrid, Barcelona, right, and Toledo. Oh my God, Toledo! I would wish to go to Toledo again, and it would be awesome. And those are very unforgettable experiences. Very unforgettable experiences. Now, I will say, when I was there, I was kind of like, I was probably like I was already overexposed with the Mediterranean Christianity, Roman architecture that I've always been seeing throughout most of Ecuador, throughout most of the United States, all the time. Whenever I go to, I'll go to a trip, right? I go to church. You go to a nursery home. You see Spanish architectures every single time. Every single time. So as a person like me, even though I was blown away with the crazy size over there in Spain with those architectures, I was actually pretty over with it. Because, tourism at the time, because this was this was 2017 when it happened, right? And, because I was just, what happens was that you wanted to see something else than just the typical Christian thing. And I know Ecuador is the same shit too, the typical indigenous shit, right? But what I was exposed to is only just colonial Christian shit. Colonial Spanish stuff every single time. So it was nothing to say that way. Though that's not the topic I wanted to bring up upon. The real topic I want to bring upon is the over influx of what's going on in Japan. I brought out Spain as a sort of like a reason, right? I brought out Spain as an example of, like what is to be. But I gotta continue. You know what? Let me continue Spain. So since I was in Spain, I was already completely overcrowded, already over encumbered with, the same old shit with, Mediterranean, Italian, Portuguese, and French, Christian, Roman shit over and over again, even though they're like 20 feet high and shit, right? I went to the castles of Alhambra. That one was a totally different expression. All right. Now, I went there it was a totally different exposure to what really happened to what the history of Spain. And I realized, damn, hold up a second, this is something new. It was the Islamic parts of Spain. Talk about the Moors, so it exposed me that Spain isn't only just the stupid typical colonial shit, right? I mean, this castle looked like DreamWorks. Later I knew was that there was a time in history that Islam came to Spain from North Africa, right? 400 years of that history. 400 years of that history came to by it. But it was quite an interesting exposure, because I'm talking about migration. You're talking about a group of people that was like that got Spain, how the reconquest, the reconquista happened, and all that kind of stuff. It was a wild experience, but it's also like an exposure to what cultures that couldn't abide to its sanction. And I think the important topic to bring about is maybe, in the midst of that, right? Should we really think about migration? Because even when I was there, because I was about to expect to see like authentic Spanish, and there were a lot of authentic Spaniards, authentic Moors peoples that lived in Spain, right? I'm very aware of that. I was bombarded when I was there too. I was also kind of shocked, to be real. When I was there, there was a lot of African people there. This was in 2017, right? However, in 2017, I was exposed, I was aware of the influences that happened in Spain, right? I was aware about what's going on in this, for example, the city of Melilla, which is like a Spanish port over there surprisingly in northern Africa. That's another thing I didn't know. Ceuta and Melilla are colonial port towns, parts of Europe, and inside Africa. And whatever the history that has, I think it was met, right? It had got an influx of wild shit that went down. It had an influx of mass amounts of migrants. I think around 2014 when it happened. This is also in Italy too, that is close to the close to the African continent. Arabs busted in, sub-Saharan black Africans busted in, and it created a massive crisis over there. And not only just that, I mean, you've seen this shit also at the mainland, throughout Greece, throughout Italy, throughout even Spain and Portugal. The influx of migrants just freaking like going off the rails, right? Going off the rails. My God, it was quite hectic. I'll tell you that. It was quite hectic. So within that, right, there was a lot of protests happened. This was in the 2010s when the first influx wave, and I started to realize what's going on, you know. So here we are in 2026, which it happened again repeatedly. We have reached to the next stage of migration. There was 2020 back in last 4 years of Joe Biden. Although Joe Biden really wasn't in charge, it was the demons that was behind him was in charge. There was dude, we were like flabbergastedly just got invaded. They opened the borders, and such an invasion just like hoarded us in the border, right? And it was that same cycle that was going on that happened in Europe. It's like this happened in Europe, bro. This happened in Europe with the amount of thousands. We're talking about millions of just people from around the world, people from right places too. Cuban migrants, Venezuelans. Oh, it's the main characters. Venezuelans, but also Central America. Literally Indians from India, from across South Asia, from across the freaking Middle East, from across Africa, from across. Oh my God, that was the scary part, because we had the Middle East between that, and also when China came in. That's when I started to saw the red flag. Okay, when I saw China, because knowing the fact how crazily advanced the technology in China is, it scared me. Like, I was kind of like, like questionable. I was really in great question. Like, hold up a second. I was really in great question. Like, okay, let me pause right there. This is what's going on, right? Who are these people? Why you're fleeing the United States? Why are you fleeing the United States? Tell me about that. Tell me right now. Why are you fleeing the United States if you got these amazing technologies of humankind to save humanity, right? Well, in reality, there wasn't. These people were not technologically. These were not refugees, right? These are people who are saying they're getting away from from like economic imbalance in China or communist dictatorship and shit. In reality, it wasn't. The truth was, they were spies. There was potential CCP spies. So I was like, oh shit, what's happening? And I saw the same cycle going on when all of Latin America. I'd be just wondering to myself, why are we still doing this? Why are we acting in such a way that we need to be a beggar? We're not beggars, but we're doing so. Why are we doing this kind of bullshit, right? Why are we doing, like, someone tell me, God, what is the cause of all of this? No one knows. Until, a bunch of fundmen, donors, and an NGO shit. I mean, this is politics, honestly. That's another thing you have to be careful too. I'm not a person of politics. on this behalf, because politics should not be. It isn't my cup of tea. You know, politics really is not my cup of tea, but they're trying to make it so. Especially when it comes to Japan. Especially when it comes to Japan. Japan, for years, right? Japan for years has been a very homogenous country for thousands of years. They have blocked a lot of foreign interventions for centuries at this point. So very little you hear about the history of migration in Japan, even though Japan themselves are migrants themselves, the Japanese. They're the mix of various other ethnicities, immigrants from Korea, China to Malay, right? And they blended together to create their own type of. They created the culture, created their features, just completely distant from the other because it's an island nation. So what happened? But we're here in the modern world. You hear the politics of how Japan is losing on a really, 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 really deep population decline. You also see Korea, three East Asian countries. You have Japan, you have Korea, you have China, too. They're losing people too. Their population's declining because of the economy. Just like here in America, we're also having a population decline. We're not making any babies because nobody's putting that donor support about it. I know this is politics. This is political shit. I am not a person of politics. So what really happened next is they had no choice. I think in around the 1990s, they started this when the population started declining. No one talked about this because when it came to this, their migration came. Of course, there's America's colony, and this and that. When they started off with Kurds. Now Japan is still 170 million or 120 million people, throughout the country. Because it's an island nation, so they're still the majority, right? And the migrants are still very, very, very small, very, very small minimum, very, very small minimum. But they make it a buzz, and they're trying to keep it as homogenous as you can be, just like China. Not really, but they're trying to be as homogenous as you can be. And homogenous as Korea too. They're trying to be as homogenous as they can be. So when we have, a story going on with the migrant crisis happening in Japan, which is a big throw off. They're like, holy shit, this is an issue. What's going on? Why is there's this migrant crisis going on in Japan? It's a homogenous country. Is it tourism? Streamers? Fuck is going on? Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna be right now typing this. While in the meantime, I am working on the graphic design, right? I've been seeing quite recently a lot of comments. I've been looking at it for the past 6 months, right? Recently in Facebook. I want to show you right here, right now, right over here. This right here is the thing that's happening in social media. See, this is from yesterday, right? The Japan migrants. This is here on the media. All this amount of Pakistanis, Malays that are been around since April 2020, right? You see all these people, you know. Now, right? This is a person that's just doing his job and making it nice and calmly. See, so I know what you're trying to say. Like many people who see this shit. Look, I am a centrist person, okay? So I like to fence it the shit, okay? Like, you gotta hear me out, okay? There's nothing wrong with migration, all right? At least this whole migrant thing in Japan is nothing compared to the migrant things happening in Europe or in the or here in America back in the last 4 years, okay? That shit was a crisis. That shit was an invasion. This is not, all right? Though, that's the other story of this kind of thing, is that you do have, you know, these type of comments saying this is Japanese, this Chinese disguised as Koreans, mainland Chinese do not have a sense of ethnic moral in their brain. Panda at the beginning just exposed the Chinese migrants. And Palestinian flags and all that kind of stuff. Kind of want the people are trying to give off the big scare, the big shit going on around here, right? I mean, people are trying to give the big scare, the big shit about, oh, African migrant in Japan reported looking for this. This is not. I don't know if this is. I don't think this is Japan. I think this is somewhere else. See, there's another thing you have to do. You have to start debunking shit. All right. You need to go to, if you need to understand that this social media site, Twitter, X, okay, those social media site, freaking TikTok, okay, you need to understand that this is weapon propaganda. On top of that, this shit, on the other hand, that's just a script, okay? There's no way. First off, if you're doing that right there, right now in America, in real life, we shoot you on sight. We don't need to record you. We just pull the strap and then you're down. All right. But seeing something like this, first things first, that's propaganda. That's propaganda. Okay. That's just someone trying to make a script. Number one. Now, but right. This in the UK, this is not propaganda. This is not propaganda at all. That's not a migrant. That's just a Brit. Man, that's another Brit. All right. This, on the other hand,
an African refugee applicant's application had already.
This one here. This is in Japan. Now that's one of the migrants. But you know, I do say this clearly in heart. When you say the name, I don't know, for some reason I say the name migrant. I just think something that makes me laugh. Something that people are just trying to get threatened. A migrant is just an immigrant. Whether that is legal or, on the wrong sense, illegal, in which we need to condemn. All right, that's what the word migrant is, right? A person from another country going to another land, you know, properly or improperly. That's just the definition of that. I mean, what's happened in Celta is not a migrants thing, but we're gonna keep saying migrants. They could say invaders, you can say animals and all that type of shit. People trying to be racist, all that type of bullshit. But the reality is those niggas are just trespassers. All right, them niggas trespassers. Now this one who is screaming like crazy, right? Now, he's from the airport. He's going there by airport, right? Doing a rude awakening. So this nigga is a migrant. This motherfucker's a migrant. Now, if he's going there, now imagine what happened. There's cases in China right now where they was driving on boats in Japan illegally, right? What they happen in Ceuta, those are invaders, those are trespassers. This person was a migrant, but he was acting rudely like a trespasser. Yes. You see a lot of these comments on social media. I'm at. That's another, right? Look, get out of Japan. I think people who feel that way, screaming Allah at Japan, trying to harass. Like this guy right here was doing a Japanese, was doing doing the Muslim chant. Allahu Akbar. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahmanir Rahim. I'll think of he's like shit like that. Shalom. Yeah, like that. So what's going on in this, right, is that there's a lot of YouTube comments. Okay, let me just because I gotta keep on working. Just hold up a second. So, like I said, what's happening in that what's being fabricated, and it's becoming a big fabricational problem, right? In the media, was that Takeichi, there are a lot of YouTube videos, right, where we're trying to bring out the good news that Takeichi, since Takeichi is fully right wing and a Donald Trump and completely aligned with Donald Trump, full America, meaning they're going to forcibly deport a lot of people. Time came by and it's already 2026 and people are complaining that she hasn't done the job right. Well, it's difficult. Hey man, look here in the United States with the ICE agents. I mean, it's pretty difficult because you got a lot of people with cell phones right now recording shit and making propaganda, maybe people twisting about it, but also a lot of people that are showing true evidence. We had Americans getting killed by ICE agents. Yes, we had a lot of legal American-born Latinos, American-born citizens getting deported, who are born in the United States, right? Who came here in the proper manner and they're getting deported. Yes, but the job was to get out of a lot of criminals, and we had a lot of criminals that came into the border, so now they're all colluded. Thing about Japan is that because they're losing a lot of population. Them niggas got losing population up their ass. Look at this. This is insane. So we already know anything around in the 2015. I think no 20. I think around 2024, right? There was this march. They had a protest about the migrant crisis, right? With the project from the LDP, which is the Liberal Democratic Party in Japan, was that they were about to, because of the whole, population decline and all that kind of stuff. But also the because of the rise of Japan's popularity, tourism has been a big thing, and then of course the fans of us weeb cultures and anime and all that kind of shit keeps going on in the way people are trying to move in, and everybody knows around the world, because of the crazy work of the violent work culture that's in Japan, right? Not many people are making babies, especially in Korea. They needed the country to go on, and there's a lot of ghost towns too. A lot of ghost towns in Japan. So the idea is that, hey, okay, we have no choice, but we're gonna have to bring in a lot of these foreigners in, because we need to fill up the gap. Japan needs to prosper still. Once again, not many people kind of like that shit, to be real with you. Like there was a moment where it's like, oh, this is interesting, right? But after being exposed with what happened in 2015 was the massive brawl between Turkish and Kurdish people in the embassy, in the Turkish embassy over there in Japan, in Tokyo. This was in 2015, and there was videos of it, right? Because I think the migrant crisis, this entire migrant crisis happened at the end of the 2010s. No, like in the 2010s, right? It started in the 2010s, 2014. I think this is why it started between 2013. Yeah, no, it started in the 2010s. Started 2013, and then right, and it expanded around the world. Although we didn't know what was going on, besides America, throughout I think around the 2018, that's what's happening, right? Even though the Turks and Kurds thing, they were introduced in the 1990s, right? And then not only them, it was also Latino Americanos, American Latinos, you know. Now we're also in Japan, like Peruvians and Brazilians, because they have a population in Japan of Japanese population in Peru and in Brazil. Remember Liberdade, the Japanese town of Liberdade is the largest one outside of Japan. And of course, we had there's a president in Peru who's Japanese. So they have an influx of those people coming to Japan, right? But what they were introduced to was the migrant crisis that's happening in son of a bitch, man. Do I have to do this bullshit? Fuck you. No. Right? But what was that? Was that, you know, like there was the people were losing their declination, the population once again declining. Once again, you know, so they had no choice. Now they do have the majority of migrants that are in Japan are, without a doubt, would be Chinese and Koreans, but they also brought in other East Asian. Remember, like that's another thing. The biggest the big influx of migrants are not the Africans and the Muslims. All right, the Muslim thing is the loudest. That's the problem. Africans and Muslims, or like the Middle Eastern migrants who are of the Islamic faith, not the Christian faith, right? They are the loudest. That's why they're gaining attention. But the majority of migrants that are coming in are from other Asian countries, especially Southeast Asia. Right? So, like, for example, before, right, there was the African protests, right, of you know, the cultural center and all that kind of shit. Second, okay. There was the mass migration of the cultural center, right? Now today, it's what was it, right? Now it's the rise of Vietnamese. Now these Vietnamese are from Southeast Asia, but they were, you know, the rise of. But before that, it was the influx of Chinese, and people talk about the CCP, right? The CCP migrants, that type of bullshit. Hold up a second, that happened in Korea. So you see comments like this right now. This is insane. Yamato Transport to hire 500 Vietnamese drivers starting in 2017 for long distance transport. Right? This was a recent news already on that stuff, and this is happening in 21 minutes ago. This is on X that's going on, and you know, talk about that. People are talking about it. Japan's reaching to the end of the post-war bargain that is allowed to an agent trying to promise itself stability without ever fully paying the market price for that stability. The deepest structure is generational extraction through time, and this and this and that, this and this and this and that, this and this and that, because that's a big story. Okay. But here we go. You hear this, like a lot of the comments right now, have applications that have already been rejected and living here there illegal. That's a bigger question. How did migrants able to illegally cross Japan, right? And they didn't come here by another boat. They come here through applications, like migrational applications, which is which is a crazy thing to see. They came through a migrational applications. So that's what's happening. But that's two things to Ishiba. Like the last prime minister that started this madness was Ishiba. But I don't want to say madness because there's nothing wrong talking about immigrants. My parents, my families, my grandmother are legal. They came here legally to the United States, processed by plane, papers and documentations, and backgrounds. They were background checked. All right, and they did their earnings. They built their way up and they started in New York. They moved to Florida. They had their houses and they built their way up. They worked hard. They're migrants. My parents are migrants, legal, official, proper migrants. All right, and on top of that, I'm brown skinned too. So don't label every migrant as a fucking invader because black and brown people are doing that shit. Keep that in mind. But so to hear this shit, right? But this was like in 25. So this for the past, I guess, like 3 years up to now, you get these kinds of like videos and stuff. I think the latest ones right here that is coming up in the way. To that point on of okay, where do we go from here, right? Where do we go from to in order to save this country, And the best way to do it is lower the taxes, cut the hours of jobs, Anime studios are losing animators. Just to be real with you, anime studios are losing, people. But none of these people will even know that. So they had no choice but to, bring in migrants. And migrants they did. Migrants they brought. So now, all right, they did that. And so for the past things around 5 years, no, like in the past 8 years ago, they started the migrant, like they started to increase the migrant thing. You mentioned that, but no one talked about it because they didn't mind. But it was when after COVID hit, something happened in COVID. Something happened after COVID, right? That's when they started to go bazoinkers with the migrants, right? Because they needed it. Because, again, there's a lot of ghost towns and lack of technologies going on. And you hear these topics. And it was, and not just that, too. There was this, like, the topics on YouTube was about, the migrant, how Japan deals their migrants the proper way they should, and why Japan will always be Japanese. And you see all these comments on social media, right? Usually on YouTube, saying that's right, keep Japanese the way it is, this and that. Keep it as a homogenous country. Just like many of these fuck ass people, MAGA people who are considering every East Asian as honorary whites. I mean, I would say that too. They're kind of honorary whites as well, right? But the same shit going on, Asian and white, and trying to keep it as traditional as always and all that kind of bullshit. Left and right, up and down. Left and right, up and down. So they came to it. But the topic today was what happened was that, well, it looks like it didn't work out because I know that people in trash taste. That's another thing about that. Joey Bissinger, even because Joey Bissinger is never talks about like the burnings of the Japanese temples, but he never talks about like the influx of the people, you know, these people who started the microcrisis, yo. These guys. I mean, this was a fight in Tokyo, and it was this fought with a bunch of Pakistanis. Again, look, not every person of color is an enemy, okay? Just you niggas need to relax. You niggas need to understand. Not every person of color is a fucking threat. You understand that, okay? Polynesians are not a threat unless you make them so. They're huge, that's why. But they never illegally cross the border. They never illegally just go to another person's ocean and say we're invading you. They never been doing that. Polynesian people never do that. All right, you don't see an Amazonian tribesman go to a capital of Quito in Ecuador and illegally migrate there. You don't see that. They stay where they are. All right. I do ask the same shit. I do ask the same question. I brought the example out when it comes to microcrisis. It's and this is on if I was a person talking to the anthropologist Wade Davis. What if Tibet, as already have been, was being illegally invaded, or is having a mass migration of people from other cultures until it falls down because of that? You say that's not prosperous, right? Well, let's just say this. What if Tibet some way somehow started introducing more than 800,000 Huarani tribesmen into the Amazon? Although they're really not tribesmen. That's a village right there, right? Imagine 800,000 Huaranis and Hasta tribes into the city of Tibet. That is illegal immigration. That is right. They have a document there, so that's what's going on. Imagine that's what's happening in Japan. You have a lot of these Muslims praying to Allah, praying the Muslim faith in a playground. They're not supposed to do. Right? Man, this was during the spring. I think this year was during the spring. And you see all these people.
All the brothers give some money for the masjid and to institute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to cover the expenditures of the masjid, and this will be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He blessed us with.
Yeah, man. Like, again, people are talking about right now. People are bringing out like this was I think this was an American thing. So okay, so here's what's going on right here. All right, this is the complete separation difference between the Western and the Eastern point of view. The Japanese and overseas. This is an overseas point of view right here on your right screen, right? About the microcrisis. This was in 2025, October 21st, right? This is when she was recently just brought up. She's recently in office. Right?
一遍ゼロベースで考えるつもりです。毎年毎年私たちと文化や何もかもがあんまりにも違う人たちをまとめて入れていくということ、この政策は一旦考え直さなあきません。経済的な動機でやってきて難民を主張する人、きちんとお帰りをいただきます。また不法滞在の人たちにも厳格に法律を守っていただきます。私は外国人との穏やかなお互いに思いやりを持って生きられる付き合い方はどうすればできるんか、一遍ゼロベースで考えるつもりです。毎年毎年私たちと文化や何もかもがあんまりにも違う人たちをまとめて入れていくということ、この政策は一旦考え直さなあきません。経済的な動機でやってきて難民を主張する人、 きちんとお帰りをいただき
Okay, so basically she's saying that we need to reconsider what the people we're bringing in in order to make sure that they are well and okay to do the basic things that prosper, that represents and respects the Japanese, and as well to that they are qualified and hoping that they're willing to assimilate to Japanese culture, to Japanese customs, to Japanese laws, to Japanese protocols, and Japanese kind of the Japanese the rules and the standards that they have, right? And a lot of these people are already, this was like last year, October 21st, they're saying good for her, only traders have, there are people saying I'm pleased to the world that people need to be waking up, people are talking about this and that, right? People passing laws, people Takaichi's doing that kind of stuff. Though what's happened though on the other side, and this is in Japan, this is from yesterday, right? These people are Yamato Transport to Hire, this one, right? And it was accepted by the US, by the government. I think there was a here. Just recently today. Right? And they're saying this: my most retarded take on Sanai Take is that I will trust anyone who listens to X Japan to be a good person. So I trust her to run Japan, right? And then you see these people say this. This is from the Japanese right here. I'm saying this out loud. This is from the Japanese. I think people who believe Sanae Takaichi should resign and be arrested. For this is literally from Japanese people, right? Peace constitution opposed to constitution, please aware of the dangers of emergency propositions, right? I mean, whether this person, mind you, too, there are leftists, hardcore, woke leftists in Japan that are native born in Japan as well as right now. So keep that in mind. So we have to be that very well underestimated, all that stuff. But people are trying to be. I'm trying to listen to the Japanese side, even though the rest of the West are saying like they're praising Sanae Takaichi for actually getting the job done, because it's not an easy job. It really is not an easy job, right? Especially what we have here when Trump did the HB1 visas, which is bringing a lot of fucking Indians around here to work on Elon Musk shit. As has not been quite a good thing, hasn't been quite a well thing right here, So this one right here, I think this is gonna be cool. That's just a news person right here, out the way. So as I'm continuing this, I gotta continue this anyways. So as they're doing that, right? We have heard a lot of things of migrants in there, and there's this whole trajectory that's happening around, even on YouTube. People are talking about on YouTube. There is the where they're talking about like they're influxing more foreigners, right? They're influxing more migrants and stuff. There's already been massive protests going on recently here. Look about that stuff. Look, primaries for Senate, Christianity and cultural values are our way of lives during the past 250 years, but in jeopardy if socialist Muslim are likely. We should learn from Japan, like to keep new migrants out from politics and go preserve and God save America. But that's from America. Ooh, right? And of course there's guys like this, trying to bring racist shit and all that stuff. I think that is not the type of thing to watch. I don't want to bring that out because it's a fucking artwork. You already guessed it. Yeah. Nope. Shit. But here it is. The growing practice has perfected deeper attention in many videos. Yeah, this one right here. This one right here.
Muslims and illegal immigrants has led to intensified protests by right-wing and nationalist groups. During these protests, a nationalist is saying that Japan is a country of the Japanese people, for the Japanese people. Foreign residents who do not follow the rules should be immediately deported from Japan.
I don't know if you guys are watching this nicely, right? Oops. Yep. So this guy is a migrant from I think he is a migrant, I think from Egypt or Hafu too. He's probably half Japanese, so he's kind of like, so he kind of is equated to go there in custom and that kind of shit. He talks about, you know, like how the same thing. If you cannot abide to the custom in Japan or any country at all, basically, you have to fucking go. You gotta leave. You know that shit. You really gotta leave on God. You know, which is agreeable because, you know, it is agreeable. You can't just come to a country and misbehave. You're there for a purpose. You're there for a reason. What you're going to contribute not just for the country but also for your family, you know. But you also got to contribute for Japan first. And imagine that, you know, we're Americans. We still need contributions here in America. We still need the benefits here in America more than just the migrants. More than that. Unless they make their earning, goddamn. Well, they ain't earning shit. They literally ain't earning shit. On God. But they will say they do. So where do you go? Where these niggas land, right? And man, we did have a lot of niggas. Here's the thing is the two, like a lot of people be glazing hard on the on what Japan is, you know, especially too. Like I'll tell you this too, on the migrant crisis during the race riots, or the George Floyd race riots. You see a lot of these 4chan users, especially I did on the topic on, and this is on regards to Japan. I even referred to Japan's migrant crisis many times too on YouTube with the whole debacle with the black Viltrumites shit, especially on Latin America and all that stuff because of, you know, of anime, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Remember, the rise of migrants, yes, is the decline of you know, of the population, but also too, it's also like the fall of the Japanese yen. And since the Japanese yen came down, yeah, you know, everybody wants to come in. Fuck Israel and fuck that Netanyahu, that fucking demons, right? And their pedophile fucking Judaism, bro. Protesters are symptoms of not the. Japan has long maintained one of the strictest immigration regimes among developed nations. Its national identity remains closely tied to ethnic and cultural continuity in a way that is rare in Western countries because it's Asian, bro! Right? For decades, this approach produced high levels of social trust, low crime, and strong cultural preservations. I mean, they did that 200 years of isolation closures they closed the world off. So that's for they've been that way for a long time, right? As demographic decline and labor shortages push the government toward limited openings, resistance is appearing among citizens who fear that the rapid or poorly managed inflows will change the character in their society. The protests are a symptom, not the root cause. When illegal states increase, then when parallel communities form, and when newcomers show little interest in adapting to local norms, backlash is predictable. Rule of law on immigration is not xenophobia, it is a basic function of a sovereign state. Countries that lose control over their borders and fail to enforce integration standards eventually face exactly this kind of public recreation. You know? And I guess that is in Japan. Japan's challenge is to address genuine labor needs without repeating the social cultural fractures seen elsewhere. Clear enforcement against illegal immigration, firm expectation of cultural respect, and transparency policy are the only sustainable path. The alternative is growing polarization between those who want to preserve Japan and has been and those who push for more open borders regardless of the consequences. People talk about that. But since you got a very rapid declining population that has recently dropped further, and you have a government who does not try to do something for the people to make fucking kids. Well, let's send in the niggas over here. And that's what happened. You got a lot of people for real right now. He said, look, the Japanese he's saying right here, Minister Kimi Onoda, the Japanese population decreased more than expected, and the number of foreigners has increased. We're at a point where something happened. Yeah, shit froze. Shit froze for a bit. Well, anyways, it had decreased from more than expected, and the number of foreigners has increased. We are at a point that we need to discover what will Japan will become in the future. Well, how's that port of that point? I mean, Takeichi, as been said, Takaichi is there at the center of things, and I don't know, say that part right. At that point of like, okay, I gotta be very solid on immigration, but I do need to save my people. I cannot. I cannot let such a struggle of my country to disappear. And many people are. I know there's YouTubers like Ken Kenobi. I think people heard about that one. Everybody knows around the world. Ken Kenobi is a political streamer, right? Ken Kenobi is a very political streamer on YouTube who did about the migrant crisis and addressed about it. He talked about that. So he's saying that it'd be better off if they just if the entire Japanese population go extinct. Yeah, so yeah, so where are we? So as I was saying, sorry, because kind of lagged out. It took a lot of stuff on his ass. Well, anyways, as I was bringing it out, we are at that point. The the birth rates are collapsing. He said, look at this. Birth rates are collapsing all over the world, including South and Central America. Korea and Japan have lower birth rates than the U.S., but still don't import many migrants. That is horseshit. Right now, they're suffering the worst problem, especially Korea. But regardless, they don't expect as many kids mowing lawns, which is wrong because they are importing migrants. Even China is importing migrants. Mind you, China is importing migrants, right? They don't. If you not, people don't even know about in the West. No one has ever heard of the African town, right? None of you ever heard of the African town that is in Guangzhou, in the province of Guangzhou, or the city of Guangzhou. I think that's what it is, right? So none of you, we Westerners have no idea what's going on over there in China, but they are importing there. Look, Japan will not be spared. Importing the third world migrants and Muslims is a sign that people lost the will to fight for existence and conquer enemies, right? Look. The Yakuza, people are saying the Yakuza should keep clean from all the migrants and who don't bend with Japanese culture and make unethical demands. Thing is, about at least, I don't know, the last 4 Yakuzas that are still around, even though the Yakuzas are gone. See, the Yakuzas are long gone. It's only what's left is just just a bunch of old men who still have the tattoos of the hierarchy that has completely just vanished, and therefore they need themselves. I think it's been said over there in Japan, in Japanese Twitter, right, that the Yakuza are actually the ones funding the influx of Nigerian scammers that are in the streets of Tokyo, in the streets of Osaka, right, and Kobe, and those guys. So they're the ones gonna be like, yo, no, this is not what we should do. So they decided to put that point on. This is insane, right? Though today what they're targeting on is the influx of Vietnamese, which is close. That's another thing. Where most of the migrant crisis is going on Japan is going to be South Asians themselves. Remember, Asia is not the, I have to be racist, the ding 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 ding. I'm sorry, that's racist, but it's not only those people. It's not the Oriental kinds of things. No, Asia is a plethora of different races and ethnicities that are natural born. It's just a funny little white guy or a kingdom in Europe who knows very little about the world, decided to go to a place that Marco Polo went and then called the world Asia, forgetting the fact that there are many different fucking places. It's almost, matter of fact, why is the old world, right? Why is the old world more interconnected than the rest of the new world? Although the new world is more interconnected because we still have that tiny bridge called Central America that helped us cross through to North America. That's another catch. That's a big catch. That's a bigger another catch to bring upon. Okay. It up. So I'm trying to get to the this part. All right, here we go. Now, let me get to my job. Uh, uh, okay. Oh shit. I think that's it too. It's funny because I'm talking about this and I'm also doing my work. That's a big gap. It's a really big gap of what I'm doing. It's a huge process. It's kind of a huge flux I'm doing. But as I'm talking about it too, we got to continue to it. Two part. Look, guys, saying in the west side too. Look, we need to stop pussyfooting around. It's not a microcosm, but an Islamic invasion problem. I don't see migrants from Japan or Thailand doing this. You see, that's the thing. The West doesn't know. We Westerners have no idea that there are temples being burnt right now, just like the churches in Europe are being burnt right now, right? Like years ago. No, the Notre Dame one wasn't the burning. I don't think the Notre Dame was the first burning of it, but churches that are like smaller churches, even in Canada, they're being burnt, right? Yeah, we never see a mosque getting burnt. Well, actually, mosques do get burnt. They get burnt in return as retaliation. Mind you that. It happened in Florida. I know here in the state of Florida, yeah, there was a mosque that got burnt down. That from what I remember. From what I remember, yeah. So what we're talking about is temples in Japan, which shit's getting crazy over there. Like shit is getting serious. Whoever is doing that should be responsible. Well, the typical suspects are around. So why can't I enter? Huh, interesting. I can't get in. Why you can't get in? Why can't you get in? Why can't you get in? Why can't you get in? Ah, shit. Why can't you get in? Okay, there you go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't mind if it doesn't look good, as long as I'm able to cut this off. And then I want to paste it. There you go with your bitch ass. There we go with your bitch ass. With your bitch ass! Okay. But 2. Okay. Which contributes more to Nepal's remittance economy? Labor migrants working in the Gulf or students who move to Europe, US, and Japan? People talk about that as a part of the problem. So, man, you see this racist shit. Foreign workers now leaving Japan. That's not true. It's not true from what I'm seeing from the Japanese perspective. This is from the latest. I gotta see. These are from Japanese Twitter. While the Vietnamese are brazenly committing crimes. Oh yeah, this one's here on the yeah, this is on Japanese Twitter right here. So I'm looking for Japanese people, but it's getting like over flabbergasted by the West, by Western people, because again, this is Twitter. Twitter's done this. Ooh, fuck me. Oh my god, I hope you guys did not see that. I hope you niggas did not see that. Hold up a second. Just in case. Okay? Just in case. Just make sure no one in the world never seen that. But fuck me. Why is it not showing? I did talk about the Vietnamese migrants are also just causing the ruckus. There's the Chinese thing. There you go. Right here. Yeah, this is from China, right? These are from the Vietnamese migrants are talking about this. This guy right here, these are two guys going to a Japanese store. You can tell by the Japanese words and everything, right? They look Vietnamese for sure. I mean, you gotta understand. Yeah, I know what a difference between a Chinese and a Japanese, and I see the face. I seen the Korean's face before. This is Vietnamese. This motherfucker is Vietnamese. They actually are distinct for. You see, this thing is just stole. And this is the fact that it's a high trust society. He just went in there, recorded him actually just not paying and stealing. And they're literally making right, and he hasn't said anything about Japanese. He didn't talk to the Japanese and everything. I really got it there for free. Everyone like share like two Vietnamese, and it says it in the Japanese comments, right? And of course you can see by the otaku kind of comments. I think the two now, since we got the rise of foreigners coming to Japan and the rise, of course, tourism, massive tourism, thanks to anime, thanks to Crunchyroll, thanks to gacha, thanks to manga, thanks to hentai. I'm telling you, to hentai, to AV, to Nintendo, to all things Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, all the way from Godzilla to Gamera to god damn freaking Power Ranger style. Kamen Rider too. To Kamen Rider. And everything else that we all loved about Japan for. So, and on top of that, the Tower of Babylon has built it up thanks to Grok AI, knowing that the Japanese are just, if not more racist than every other European. Mostly, eventually Argentinians. Funny enough. So they had these, but the part is too, this guy's 20 years old. His face kind of looks kind of childish, but he's not a boy anymore. The other one's 23. By the way, the Vietnamese subject in question is so head over heels from dating his Vietnamese girlfriend that I think if we deported him, he probably reflect to learn his lesson. Well, that could do. Vietnamese people who don't warn anybody and even enjoy crimes as a group, reflecting low civic standards. Japanese also had those who caused trouble in stores, but they posted about it in reels and only share in closed circles. In contrast, Vietnamese request, please share for sharing crimes. Right? For sure, yeah, because the viewers also have low civic standards. No one warns people about anything, just enjoys it. Because here, this is also with a bunch of Nepalese people in this shit as well. Gathering at the Japanese train stations to throw parties apparently. But isn't this also kind of a scare too, right? They're habitual offenders. How they're habitual offenders? Well, yeah, because you're partying around, you're in a train station, so yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Trains are there to stay, to wait. But because since the area is closed, they need to find a place to hang around, and of course there are areas that you could hang around, but they're there on a limited time space. They couldn't. Remember, Japan, like most East Asian countries, are a collectivist society, right? They're a collectivist society, so they don't. So if one fails, everything comes down from that person. It's not like the one person needs to makes a mistake. He or she learns that mistake. No. Instead is okay. This person's at fault, especially that other person, because they're all collectivist. Which created the hikikomori kind of culture, like type of people there too, which is like the loners, the deserters out there, bro. That's what's going on. So I had that feeling that that's gonna happen. Yamato transferred to hire 500 drivers. How a criminal enterprise begins with Vietnamese drivers. Same in America with migrants from India using trucking for criminal activities. Not all the time. I've seen Sikhs do the best work of them all. So mind you that, right? Migrants. You know, there's people too. This was on 2020.
そうですね、はい、私たちの子供がイスラム教が幼稚園とか学校ではクリスマスとかあとハロウィンとか節分とかいろいろそれ全部もうやらしてないんです。その日はこちらのパキスタン人親子、皆さんは日本の学校に通われてるんですか？そうですね、はい、私たちの子供がイスラム教が幼稚園とか学校ではクリスマスとかあとハロウィンとか節分とかいろいろそれ全部もうやらしてないんです。その日は休んでる。熱い信仰心。イスラム教はこれでのはもう全然ないから。プレゼント欲しいな。プレゼント欲しいな。プレゼント欲しい。返せ待って欲しい。やらない、全然やらない。日本各地にある外国を調査ガチ〇〇シリーズ。まずは大阪西淀川、閑静な住宅街に突如現れるこちらのお店。
Osaka, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. There was this was an influx of lots of Muslims. Lots of Muslims in Osaka.
そう、今日はガチパキスタン。お店の真向かいには大阪有数のモスク。礼拝を終えたイスラム教徒がこの店になだれ込む。まさに西淀川に広がるイスラム世界。全く異なる文化のイスラム世界。時に日本に困惑すること。
You see, he's talking about interviewing those people and say, I don't want to come. And like, yeah, well, as much of my cousins too, I'm just hoping they respect the same customs I have. Well, you're in another fucking country, sir. You should respect the customs they have establishedly. Imagine, there's a lot of people, right, who are legally crossing to the Arabian countries, and they're being deported within a heartbeat, just by even setting foot, just by even looking at you, and saying, "Nah, you're seeing us a threat." Right, and yeah, and through these past 2 years or so, they've been going through this situation for quite a, you know, like they had this situation since, remember this, the whole micro crisis shit has been around since the 2010s. The first time we ever hear migrants run around, right? The first time we ever hear migrants run around in Japan was 2015. But nobody in this godforsaken the internet realized it until then. Yeah, they did not realize it until then, right? That such shit like this when it was about to go down on that behalf, right? You have memes right now trying to kick out the Muslim thing because there was a rise of that, and it was that rise was been around since. I think some of the video, there were many videos about, you know, the rise of Japanese Muslims. I think since around 2011, I think, from what I remember, because I was because that's because, you know, I'm stupid, all right. I'm very stupid from believing in the internet and comment sections, like on Reddit, on YouTube, well, mostly YouTube and X. Even though X is an app that I use for content and for gooning, but from the research, from my understanding, in when it comes to the Muslim things, it's been around since 2011. Now the rise of Kurds, the 1990s, because the first Kurds were being introduced to, you know, to Japan as like temporary work immigrants, and once you're done, you can go home. That's what they say. Well, little did the Japanese know that they don't do that. Migrants don't do that. They didn't caught that. They didn't catch that. They didn't knew that it was just only temporary. You know, my cousin, my brother has that same policy. If you're, you know, you can move out, you can come around here, but after that you gotta go. Once you're done, you're done. You know, you go back home. And he agreed to that part, and he's living in the South, right? And that means, you know, he goes back home, then this house is his room, this house is his villa, and I had to get back all my stuff back home, back in the room. but not many people are gonna accept that. They're gonna bring their families here and all that stuff. And I see memes of that shit. I see many memes when I went down with that stuff. So the truth is, I mean, again, these people are from places that survival is needed. You know, you had to agree with that. You had to understand where they're from. You had to accept the fact that these people, you know, these are the like there are bad people, but they're also good people just trying to survive, right? Survival is what they know. Survival is what they see. It wasn't what they think that they run from. Otherwise, you get shit like this or shit like this, which this was in 2015. People say Kurdish migrants are causing migrants. It's like, no matter you want to touch it. No. This video, see, this shit is a LARP. These comment section right here is a LARP. Yes, this is the migrant crisis, right? This was in 2015 when the migrants of Kurdish people was appeared. This video was in 2015 because I saw this on 2015. I saw this video on 2015. I definitely saw this video on 2015. People did not knew there was an influx of migrants there. Kurds and Turks battling each other out through all of Europe. This was in the 2010s. Right? They're speaking in a different language. Right here. So 2010, but their issue was with China. Well, another thing, it was with the Chinese Communist Party that was going around there. And now they're protesting again. Many protests. They have been going on ever since. Shinzo Abe went and like. Wait, what? Banzai. That's the prime. That's the emperor over there. That's also saying the same thing. Like, yo, this is insane. This is insane. This is fucking retarded. What's going on over there, right? But he knew the protocol. But after his death and the takeover Ishiba, you know, just brought out the whole way. But I've seen videos of it.
People probably have the longest living freaking population. Japanese people probably have the longest living freaking population, but the people in Japan living fall below 120 million for the first time in 42 years, guys. The population has declined for 17 consecutive years as Japan faces a low birth rate and an aging society. Meanwhile, foreign residents living in Japan rose to 9.62% to a record 4.3.
Yeah, okay, your voice is pretty annoying.
Japanese
You gotta
people
please build up your fucking character because you sound annoying. You sound very annoying. But he's saying about the migrants. He's bringing out the news about it and all that stuff. Man, right here too. This is happening. Mind you too. This is from COG, which is Colonel Taku Gatekeeper, who basically is just a LARPer account. A Japanese LARP account. Please keep that in mind too. You need to watch it out with the Japanese LARP accounts. But he did brought out this one. This was in Japan 2020. This was yesterday. This was last year with the rise of Muslims and migrants. Right? It's happening in the United States too. And you also have
This
like
scene outside
people.
Tokyo Shinjuku Station is deeply concerning. some foreign immigrants are spreading Antifa-style violence.
This nigga blacked himself so hard that you can't see his face, yo. This guy is the default. You know, he's like that default character that is in the horror films or like in the he's so black.
Chaos here. Hiding behind black clothes and face masks, they're using loudspeakers to hurl abuses and threats.
Nigga, you're black enough. How do you black yourself even blacker? Holy shit.
Japan's people and its system. Japan gave them shelter and jobs, but they are destroying the peace and security of the country.
I'm sorry, but see, hearing this shit out of AI, I just can't do AI like that. I'm sorry. I want to hear real people like this man that is yelling at the Japanese. Right? You are behaving as in a ways too. I mean, you hear these kind of things all the way too. All that stuff. Takeichi, I think also there's one here. Oh, this one. Finally, you hear the same thing on the behalf here. Look, immigrants are necessary supplement to the shortage of human labor. Okay, this is one of the left-wing side of Japan. Immigrants are necessary. By the time the second generation of immigrants grows up and begins causing chaos, leading to the collapse of culture and public order, that current politicians and the elderly will be gone. So everyone can irresponsibly push it forward. This is the result of continuing unlimited national support to fake vulnerable groups who are merely labeled as women or elderly. Seriously. And here is all from yesterday. The illegal immigrant labor situation in Ibaraki is seriously out of control, especially with Vietnamese. They catch stray cats, kill them, and eat them. They smoke cigarettes right on the gas station. Yanineko reference. In platforms without a care. And just the other day, some of them got arrested after spraying a cop with tear gas. What? Ibaraki's public safety is truly the worst because of immigrants. And meant to that, Shimotsuma's mayor, who was trying to launch the nation's first initiative to offer rewards for tips on illegal immigrant labor, passed away or murdered is more accurate. People in Ibaraki, it's time for you really woke up. Hearing this from the Ibaraki prefecture, right? He said the ones really supporting primary industries are legit foreigners. That's the current statement which sustains food for the supply. And we're tackling illegal labor, but it's impossible at the local government. But from any prefecture, please, you too get involved into primary industries, because they're saying this is for foreigners. Again, because Ibaraki, I think Ibaraki is the one that is the most heavily hit in population decline. They had no choice but to bring in foreigners. The government trying to bring in no foreigners. Again, in the western side, if you see in the western side, Takaichi, you see the western comments on social media, Takaichi, is goated. Takaichi's doing this. Well, in reality, she's not doing a good job. She's really not doing a good job. But did Trump? That was the same thing with Trump, right? He's doing shit. He's so senile. He's too senile to understand what he's doing, right? Too senile. What's going on? What's he doing? Look, in 2023, there was an incident in Osaka where a police officer stopped the Vietnamese person we're questioning, but the individual fled the scene. The officer chased him, leading to a struggle, and the officer was nearly killed and stabbed in the head with a screwdriver. There was a video showing the scene, but it seems that all of them have been deleted now. That's the thing, too. There was a lot of really good evidence of what's going on, the temples burning and all that kind of good stuff. That I say this, too, in whole heart of me, right? Why, Joey Bissinger, the anime man that I follow on YouTube, right? He talked about the burnings of Japanese temples, right? He really talked about the burning of Japanese temples. And although he himself is Japanese too, so he speaks fluent Japanese. Why is it he's not? I keep commenting this on social media, right? I commented on comments on YouTube. Why are you not talking about the immigration problem? Why? Well, Trash Taste, in the episode of Trash Taste, which angered a lot of people, was that, they said that to bring more foreigners in, to bring more migrants in, which there's, like I said again, there's nothing wrong about migrants, right? But they need to have a proper assimilation. I think that was but rightfully so, many Japanese did not like that. They did not like the fact that the trash taste said that. And Joey, who's Japanese, who's trying to speak on behalf of Japanese, introducing us to the outside world, is never speaking about the use of fucking migrants, Muslims, particularly Muslims, the type of Muslims. There's the Shia and the Sunni Muslims, right? I think the Shia Muslims are the ones doing the Sharia law type of thing. That, yes, which they're trying to enforce in Japan. Mind you, they're trying to enforce in Japan. But again, why is it that Joey Bissinger completely discards the actual fact that the temples in Japan, right? Actual temples in Japan that are being done by the usual suspects, bro. People they're saying, oh, he's trying, like I saw that video on YouTube, right? And completely disregards from the actual comments I saw on X. Again, remember, this is propaganda. You're trying to investigate, and then it's, everybody's trying to be anonymous as usual. But Joey Bissinger should be a little bit accountable. No, actually should be held fucking accountable for completely disregarding the fact that the reason why temples are being burnt in Japan, especially like Shohei Kondo was saying themselves, is the migrants. It's the type of people who are being introduced there. And it's probably not just Muslims, it could probably be the Chinese, right? Yeah, all these are sacred flames. Yeah, the mass immigration attacks on artists, on churches, and cultural elements became routine. Japan long protected its unity and cultural identity with the strict immigration policies. And if it's now Europe's open path, it suffered the same fate. Yeah, in just the first month of 2020. Yeah, so to that, first thing you should do, look. Here is from translated by Haruka Wake. Oh shit! This person here is genuine Japanese. Look, this is a Muslim right here who is talking about what to not do when you go to Japan.
Perkara pertama yang jangan buat ialah satu ialah apabila kita pergi ke tokoh-tokoh mereka ataupun tempat-tempat agama mereka, anggaplah itu tempat syaitan menyesatkan manusia. Ada banyak tempat-tempat menarik di Jepun ini yang mereka promosikan sehingga tak nampak macam benda itu tempat menyesatkan manusia. Seperti di Tokyo Asakusa kan, di Kyoto dan Fujinari kan. Ada banyak tempat-tempat begini yang Asakusa ni yang jelas tempat tu menyesatkan manusia. Dan di sekeliling tempat tu ada shopping center lah, macam tempat membeli beras kan banyak kan. Dan setiap sen yang anda belanjakan tu akan pergi masuk ke toko tersebut, kerana itu adalah orang kata dia ada cukai pintu. Cukai pintu kepada toko itu. Jadi apabila setiap sen yang anda belanja tu, anda akan mengayakan lagi tempat syaitan itu, dan mereka akan lebih banyak untuk berdakwah kepada menyesatkan orang Jepun. Jadi kita kena
mind you, this is not a Muslim from the Middle East. This is from Southeast Asia. So, right? And if you guys don't know about a thing or two about why there's Southeast Asian Muslims, that's mostly in the Sarawak regions, is because there was a migration, there was a mission over there. I don't know. I don't think it's by conquer. It was by merchant kind of thing, right? And trade that came in there, and therefore they learned about the use of Islam, and then that's when a few centuries, not thousands and thousands of years ago. No, it started around the 1300s, I think. That's when it happened, and then it got introduced to throughout the world, throughout parts of it, all of Indonesia, Malaysia, and I swear that's where all of Islam. That's why Malaysia has the Islamic kind of symbol of coloring the sun and the American flag, because that's what it is, because it has a Muslim colony in there, or Muslim influence to trade. But many temples were being burnt from that point on. Many temples were being burnt. And as you can see, and Joey Bissinger, what's up? Once again, why? That's another thing too. Trash taste. What people got upset about that. Right? I think it had it. There was the post was when they talked about the whole high school thing. I guess they took it out, or I guess it just is kind of gone. Yeah, trash taste. Oh, right here. This is from Japanese Twitter. It's a famous YouTuber in America. Man, we Americans catching strays. Why are we catching strays? They're not immigrant. They're not fucking Americans. There's only one Australian and 2 British people. Okay, they're just from different ethnicities. From Japanese high school, most shining period of their lives. One day working adults turns to hell. People are pretty. I think it's a pretty sloppy take on Japan. First off, as those couldn't even possibly had fun in high school days. If anything, the ones truly open high school don't cling so strong to school anime even after growing up. Reality, people who said the school days were hell because relationships in the range were narrow with no escape. Plus, Japanese people don't just watch anime. It's dramas, movies dealing with working life, poverty, family issues, crime, healthcare, and politics are normally popular too. The explanation that Japanese escape into anime because they don't want to face dark reality doesn't explain Japan as well. True, because this is what the video is saying.
Is that a cultural thing? Yeah, it's a cultural thing. Why so? It's because it's, for a lot of people, like, high school is kind of seen as like this basically like golden time. Right. Yeah. It's like, for a lot of people, high school is like, the whole thing of like in the West of like high school is like, usually movies that are based in high school in the West are based off bad memories. Yeah. Being like, oh man, my high school fucking sucked, blah blah blah. They're all these shit people, the jocks, the bullies, blah blah blah. Right? That's the norm in the West. In Japan, it's glorified because to a lot of people, high school was a really fun time with like friends they'll never get back, and like because it's also the last years of that person being young and free.
I liked high school, but I wouldn't say that. Gretzko, new season. Oh yeah, that was good. Very refreshing. Yeah, depressing as always.
Depressing as fuck, yes.
Which is great to see because it's like one of the only anime out there that will actually like commentate on adult life in Japan and be realistic.
But it's
to say I don't know what to say that this guy that the trash tastes are shonen anime fans. I don't think that's true, because Joey introduced us to many other animes outside of shonen, and that's why they're saying. They're saying that right here. Too many overseas anime fans talk about Japan like it's a country made solely of shonen anime, right? Because that's the tourists. They're talking about tourists in America and outside, right? Even when they sell themselves as living in Japan, they're people with hardly any connection to Japanese society, just living within the foreigner community, like 3 people in that video. Living in Japan and understand Japanese are 2 different things, right? They'll go thinking a few anime and your own experiences let you explain the values of over 100 million people. And this goes right, man. This goes by the man of Masaru. I introduced overseas media. Yeah, this person right here is Masaru. I could follow him right here, right now. And he's saying, like, when anime shows is Durarara. Right? Like when anime comes, they exactly. Yeah, they talk about, you know, how foreigners trying to complain about Japan. There are no black people around me. That's another thing, bro. What, black and brown people, what, don't bring this fatigue. Don't bring the fatigue here. Although there's such fatigue right now, they just don't care, and they just don't want to fucking care, bro. What, like, there are limited blacks living in Japan, this and that. Well, because you're in fucking Japan, you dumb bitch. You're in fucking Japan, you dumb bitch. That's why there's not many black people. Well, you know what? Now you got an influx of black people, just like the black Viltrumites and from Africa in freaking Saitama. Which is another thing too. Hold up. Japan foreigners. Saitama foreigners. Right here. Here, look, learn to aim for weak, man. What the hell? Learning this and that. Tagalog and Japanese. Da, 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 da. Oh, what the hell is going on, man? What's going on? I've seen this coming up in the way. Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, this is from the Pakistanis or the Indians who are caught up a Japanese local over here. Cars being burnt. Yeah, look. Yeah, that's from one of those car shows in Japan. Kurds are driving around recklessly in Kawaguchi, Saitama Prefecture with one car bursting into flames. Oh, but this was in 2024. Yeah, true. The thing is, don't they do illegal street racing in Japan too? But they do it orderly. That's the thing. That's what makes them cool. It's that they try to make, you know, again, Japan is so overly glazed that I think that's what caused the crazy migrant crisis over there in Japan now, because there's so much glazing and the introduction and of course the anime, the pop culture and all that shit has been so intensified and flabbergasted that now people are just trying to. Now niggas are moving in, and that's what's causing like this strain that nobody knows what's going on. Halal shop right here, right? Yesterday, right, from the LARPer, Colonel Otaku Gatekeeper, who is not a Japanese person. He is a European who hates his own skin. Say that in Saitama Prefecture, there is a British restaurant called Churchill, which has been over for 50 years. In 2022, a halal shop opened up next to it and it's caused certain backlash among Japanese, which is a big fucking double standard. It's a big double standard. It's a halal food. It's Arabian food. He's doing a business. What's so wrong about that? We're just introduced to that, right? But because it is a shop next to a British restaurant that is 50 years old, and I'm sorry, British food is fucking sad. British food is fucking sad. Okay? I mean, I see the images of British food and British bread. It is sad. I don't know how you Japs fucking like that shit. But they've been there for years. They've been there for 50 years. If that is the case, necessary to see the halal food, right, restaurant there, and this is my defense, then you should also give backlash to the British. You should give backlash to the British. Don't you think? I mean, there's an influx of foreigners, migrants. Why do this? Why go after the halal food rather than the British food too? Maybe it's because, I don't know. Look, you're a foreigner. For real. And the comments are saying this right now. Like, you are a foreigner pretending to be Japanese. Here's a picture of food served at Churchill, right? Churchill. It's yoshoku, Japanese style Western food, not British style food. A map shows a bunch of halal shops operating closer to the nearby station, right? So this is the like he's saying to this guy, to the LARPer, about the halal foods, right? The Nana Cafe, you know, there's the Chinese restaurant. There's halal here, brothers halal, Al Arafa halal, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, speaking about that, right? And the only one was a British restaurant, Royal Host or something like that. So this right here is not really British food. It's just a Japanese stylized version of British food. Pretty much. So they didn't understand. So these people don't understand that difference. And neither do the Japanese themselves. They're dreaming of this panacea, right? Of what Britain will be when they first visit there. Well, just like the Paris syndrome on most Japanese women who go there acting like a cute anime waifu going to another country until they realize, oh shit, it's not what I think it is, right? This is that's the UK thing. This is from the Japanese television. Here, last week, a massive protest was held in London, capital opposing refugee intake and other policies. In recent years, there's been a surge of asylum seekers across. Yeah, this was from the TV. This was from the TV. Yeah, so they talk about that too. They show it on newspapers to the point where now they even have freaking politicians who are absolutely against this too. Like this guy here is a hard right winger who also calls himself the Joker. Hilariously, because he cosplays himself as the Joker, but he's actually a spokesperson. And you got the free protest also cosplaying back. This was AI generated against this kind of guy in the regime over there too. So it's just like this major calamity of things as going up in the wazoo of, you know, Japan and the prefecture to that what is to be pawned, because, you know, seeing this, right, like I said, there's nothing wrong with immigration, but it's the type of people you're bringing in. And now people are saying that I think the only way to say that is, I think that what the Japanese would resort to, much like Europe is trying to resort to, is if I'm going to bring immigrants, I'm going to bring migrants in, it's going to have to be those of a similar culture, similar culture and similar standards that we have. And white Europeans and yellow Orientals literally click side by side. They click side by side with each other because of this. Once on the far west, once on the east. In the old world, there's called the West. In the old world, there's the East. The Orient, they say, the Orientals, right? The Orientalism. But reality was all about Arabia, never about East Asia. Until now, the Orientals is the far, 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 far east, and they reached it that way. Would be China, Japan, and Korea. That I think they didn't. There isn't any migrant issue about them because they know better than, unfortunately, us people like me. You know, brown skin or black, from a culture completely different from those two, the global north culture. Or should I say this, or should I call them, like, people of darker skin? I say we're of the fire team, right? And then people of the lighter skin are of the ice team. So the ice team, we the fire team, are simultaneously jumping into the land of the ice team, basically. blacks versus like collective dark skins to honorary white kind of places, or just white tier places. So a delinquent group centered on second generation immigrants in Nagoya got warned by the police or for a group bike rampage, fled to a Lawson parking lot and ended up loitering there. I ain't doing bike life. Oh, these niggas are doing bike life called, yo, that's the bike life scene right there. There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen I've seen the native Italians doing that with dirt bikes in their home city, in their home country. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the bike life culture. Right? I mean, don't Japanese have their own type of bike life scene? Don't they do that? They do. They do. I mean, they've never seen. I mean, I have wait. I can't wait to see their reactions when they started seeing the dirt bikes in the cities. Because they have motorcycles, but they never see the like motherfuckers like in the South actually popping crazy wheelies and doing stand-ups on the bikes, on the dirt bikes. Warabistan, a group of Muslim-looking foreigners, for real, like, hold on a second, Japan Muslim. Let's go talk about them. Right here. Yeah, the debates are kind of pointless and all that stuff. So, this here, right now, which came to this part, ask this again. Islam is a tough topic, but I've said it before about my trip to Spain. I was fascinated by the culture, by the castles and the arts of the Islamic castles of the Moors over there in Alhambra, Spain. It was such a history that you can't grasp, you can't fathom to see, because it looks like it's out of a DreamWorks fantasy. It was just out of this world. I was so fascinated with the Alhambra castle in Spain, knowing that how the Moors were there, and then of course why they disappeared, like in Cordoba and Andalus and all those guys, because it was the Crusades that happened all the way to Jerusalem. Though you might gonna need another crusade, Japan, because Islam is now the gross religion in Japan. Right? I mean, you see these type of videos, it creates this uproar, but you see the amount of immigrants that are falling around in Japan. This was in Tokyo. There was many others in as well in Osaka as well. I mean, this kind of stuff right now, they're having a big problem with that. To see, I mean, you guys, you gotta understand that, like the motive to go in of Islam right now, the current state, not the past state, or maybe it is the past state too, is to basically conquer. That's what's going on. It's to basically conquer. Yes, there are some very important things to understand, that not everyone is that way over there. It is not everyone is that way over there. But pattern recognition wise, it's been going on so much that you know what? This is not the religion I want, bro. 72 virgins for my. Are you trying to send my kids to get child marriages? Fuck that. But I would say the same thing to the Christian missionaries who try to do who forcibly converted many indigenous peoples too. Both of these religions, right? Because it was used by the wrong people, and the wrong people completely tarnished the name of their faiths. You know, Muslims block hospital garage in Japan. Like they would go to the streets and do this shit. You would not know what's going on until it happens. I think that like they also protest of the using of building like big mosques out there too in Japan. Many people protested. Many people protested in Japan. I think this is where this happened. Okay, this is from a Japanese, right? And look, even the Muslims' holy site of Mecca is littered with trash like this. It seems Muslims have no concept of purity, but these kinds of people are demanding burial cemeteries in Japan. Muslim cemeteries are different from the Japanese ones. It seems they don't have the idea of visiting graves every year. In one Islamic country, the cemetery has become a problem as a dumping ground and illegal dumping site for the bodies. Maybe it's a little too harsh, but rightfully so in these current situations. Yeah, it's gonna have to go down. Here as well, attacking Europe. Yep, that's the ideology of the current state of Islam, and this is in Spain. This is in the current part of Spain. This is in Ceuta. Yeah, that's the island of Ceuta, which is in Africa. But here, this is in Japan. And keep like slapping himself like It's something I like that is completely different. There was a lot, and I've seen a lot of posts on social media from Japan, right? That I'm pretty sure they took out in there before everybody knew that that could have happened. Like Muslims are furious after restaurant starts posting no halal signs on the blanket. Could he stand with Japan? Taki again. This is the western side of this micro crisis here in Japan. But if you look at the Japanese side, there's complaining that Takaichi is not doing the job. They're literally saying that. They literally are saying that, right? So what happens over there? Like a Japanese liberal former TV anchor, Kuniyame Hassan, is saying that Japan should build burial grounds for Muslims. Meanwhile, almost everyone in Japan is cremated. This tradition has been going on there for centuries. Oh my God, why burial sites? No, cremated. I think I if I die, I would be cremated. I don't want burial. But the problem is here in America, they fucking made it expensive over cremation. Like even Japan is getting this. So before anyone thinks maybe I'll go to the most racist Asian country possible, nope. Even they're cucking themselves to Muslims and Indians. Wait, what? For real? There are Africans in Lithuania. There's quite literally nowhere left to run, and you cannot even walk without seeing them. We are overrun. Like you see, these comments are like you're scaring them, aren't they? What are they doing? Okay, look, if they're really claiming them, if they're trying to say we're here because this was our bloodline, we're gonna take back, then that's an invasion. You could call them out. But if they're just there, just trying to live a life they want to live, man, right? By rule, by discipline, fuck discipline, but by rule, by the standards, by knowing the law and all that stuff, and working hard and all that kind of stuff, then let them live that way where they want to live to be. It's just the radicalization of it. of it, of migrating. That's what's the problem that we're talking about, right? That is the root of the problem. You know, I seen beforehand, you know, when I was in Spain, I saw like these mass, like there were plazas that used to be in that used to be just for tourist sites, right? They had now streets that are filled with vendors who are just scamming you, you know, selling scammy shit by people from Africa, you know, and but during that time, during that time, because it was 2017, I remember it wasn't as grave as it is now, right? Because Spain is 15% unemployment rate, so it was tough to find multiple low-waging jobs to that. And of course, National Geographic also talked about the ghost towns in Italy that are gone. Now it's being repopulated by migrants. That's a good thing. Okay, that's a good thing to have to repopulate that place with migrants. If it's complete ghost towns, repopulate them with migrants, trying to keep the economy going. Though, however, it's that there's the bad apples, who the majority unfortunately got inside the as a horde of the good ones. Yeah, started that shit, right? But that was in 2017 when I first saw that. I was like, what's going on over there, right? You know, what is going on over there? I mean, I could see more of this happening. Right here, 3 politicians in 3 countries, Japan, Taiwan, and Australia, centered their politics around attacking Indian and Pakistani immigrants and rocketed to the top of the polls, with all 3 leads. Yeah, they're not talking about that. God damn, they are all hell bent on that stuff. You know, British Antifa disrupting large right-wing gathering. I mean, they're talking about politics here, but I'm trying to look for Japanese. Yeah, this one, look, Pakistani immigrant. Yeah, this is the mosque thing. This shit is the mosque thing right here.
The Pakistani ambassador himself showed up for the inauguration, but the Japanese weren't sleeping. Tokyo's municipal commissioner immediately declared the mosque illegal. These guys thought they could build it first and ask for permission later. They forgot this isn't Pakistan. This is Japan. Recently, Japanese people took to the streets in protest because mosque construction and Islamic practices were ruining their culture and peace. The order to demolish the mosque has already been issued, and a summons has been sent to the Pakistani ambassador. On top of that, an anti-Pakistan campaign is now gaining serious momentum in Japan. These Pakistanis will never change. They went ahead and built an illegal...
Yeah, they'll never change. Yeah, these guys... Like they're not familiar with what's the boundaries to that. It's just like the tourists in anime, right? They're like the usual suspects who are attacking the mangakas, like Mushoku, the artists of Mushoku Tensei, artists, or they're attacking. Sometimes they would attack Dandadan because of the fan service. They would attack literally Studio Trigger because after discovering about the sexual fan service of Kill la Kill out of nowhere, they would attack anime just because they believe, by from their morality of justice, they need to protect the children, which are not real in anime. That's basically that thing. And what's also this is the cost is that now people that, since like shows like Chainsmoker Cat, Jimoto Psycho's being brought out, they might get censored too. They might get censored, or the mangakas are going to have to be forced to mellow down the nitty gritty, right? Because of the influx of the migrants that are there, because they're living at a standard. Imagine we can't see Tifa Lockhart's thick thighs. Now it has to be covered in a fucking hijab. I mean, think of that. Would she be Tifa Lockhart? No. She'd be Altifa Lakshma. Elasmat. Almud, something like that. Tifa Lohalmud, something like that. You know? So much so that's why they're like, no. That's why people are gatekeeping. So there's a migrant crisis both physically and digitally in all sides. You have tourist migrant crisis who are, hell bent on trying to cancel anything that seems apparent, that any fictional content that seems problematic to their eyes because they just couldn't handle anime in that way, or they're trying to also engage and trying to put their rules and boundaries and their face physically in Japan too, or any other country. And it's, Japan should bring the Yakuza back, considering the problems with immigrants recently. Yeah, but the Japanese, the Yakuza are deeply involved in that stuff. I don't think anyone claims it is the only country that needs immigration. However, immigration will not solve the PRC's problem because the country is simply too large. It would need something about 7 million immigrants just to add 5% to its population and stop the bleeding, or 150 million to reverse the decline. Where on earth could those numbers come from? And they're like, Western brainwashed communist press birth tourism on Japan because it's the only one of the 3 countries that Westerners consume media from, and they want to turn it to woke shit. I have not heard. Yeah, this is, you see this person. Yeah, you see, immigration has not and will not solve any country. It creates more. Import 150 million Pakistan. Hey, bot, immigration won't solve any problem because it only makes things worse. You see. So this guy is probably like a Bobo Woker. I was criticized by a racist. A lot of these comments from the West too. So see, I'm trying to find more Japanese comments. Let's go to this. I want to go to here, right? I want to go to here. All right, here we go. When the burqa was removed, oh yeah, this is in when the burqa was removed, what emerged was a man hiding in the martial manager. Right. Japan should also ban the burqa, just like Switzerland, to prevent immigrants who are Islamic fundamentalists from coming in. So it's a guy who's taking out the burqa, hiding drugs. My God. Yo. Boy, hiding everything, everything from sight. Hiding everything from sight. Yeah. That's true, because we're starting to see burqas in Dearborn in Michigan. There's now the rise of burqas in Dearborn, Michigan, bro. Oh my God. Fertility rate right now is 0.80. God damn. 1.13. God damn. What's going on in Hong Kong? Hong Kong is so small. I don't know why it's a country. Japan is slightly higher than the rest due to all the Indonesian immigrants having babies. No, I don't see much elimination going on. Immigrants who have no business going to Japan. Right here. There's got to be more information, but that's it right here. Yeah, this guy, right, are similar hidden disguised immigrants that live normal lives in the day behind the Shinto shrine fires occurring throughout Japan. Right, they burn the Notre Dame and this and that. See, this is a straight up threat by these people. See, with this is the reason why you can't allow an ideology like that ever come into this country. Come into the country of Japan, which is happening right now in Japan. The burning of Japanese Shinto shrines is exactly the result of what's happening in freaking the churches, yo. Second generation immigrants riding bikes disruptively while being confronted by police traffic violation. Yeah, but they're just riding their bikes. But still, too, you're in a different country. They have different laws. You have to respect it because that's just disruptive, you know. And of course, this one. Of course, this one. Somebody, I see these. I've seen this meme many times. He says deportations take too long. Hear me out. They would bring these type of things all the time, bro. This meme is trying to push Japan to taking the matters to their own hands, like the Irish did. The Irish are taking the matters to their own hands, without a doubt. The Irish are taking the matters to their own hands, and you see, and like World War II, World War III, and they're bringing this kind of memes again to Japan. You know. The Niels Grande, Japan is not tolerating the takeover of their country by illegal immigrants. Yeah, this was August 7th. Yeah, they're protesting all the way. Like you see that on that behalf, and then they're all up in arms on that bullshit. Just like this right now, right? This is the same with Japan, just with a different version coming nonstop. This right here, I mean, I can see. You know what I want to see? I want to see like a techno song, and they're just having them like an AI song, or AI video of just them just becoming like World War Z and just doing like jumping down like da 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 da. Funny enough, see, oh my god, what was with the westerns? I seen Japanese. Hold on a second, Japanese. Yeah, you know, and I think pretty much that is right here, too. So Japan's already had secret against anyone. Let's go, come. And I said Japan needs its own version of ice. The left had an absolute letdown. I didn't even have to make any case. For real. It's called Kamikaze. Pakistani couple. The gestation right here. This is another one. The gestation is 10 parents period. Don't give birth in Japan. And if you have to gnaw on a stone to learn Japanese, if you can't do that. And then just give birth in a country where the language is mutually intelligible, and that's all. Don't blame Japan to the fact that languages don't communicate.
They could not speak. Pakistani couple preparing for childbirth in Japan has complained that the hospital refused to give them an appointment because they could not speak Japanese. This left them very distressed. Due to reasons such as the need for an interpreter during consultations, it was not easy to find a hospital that would accept them.
Of course, how the fuck are they gonna know what Pakistani language is? How can they even speak Bengali? How can you speak Bengali? How do you speak Pakistani? Tell me. How have they've never even heard of the language, the Pakistani language. They don't even know that shit, all right? The only language they're able to try to at least speak is gonna be English. That's it. That's it. They can't speak Pakistani for anything. They cannot speak English themselves. They only speak Japanese. You have to speak Japanese in order to get that privilege. You only to have that permission, bro. Just go to the door. You're in a like they say, well, duh. You're in a foreign country and don't speak the country's language. Why should that country have to bend over backwards to cater you? Learn the language. That's a responsibility. Yo, for real. And look, here's the comment here. In Japan, as a measure to address the declining birth rate, a subsidy of 500,000 yen is provided to cover childbirth expenses. In addition, financial instances of pregnancy, right? So, man, it's this nigga's fault. Whoever is coming to Japan, trying to, trying to speak there, to say, hey, can you guys help me? But you need to speak my language. Like, nigga, you're in a foreign country. Of course not. Of course not. And they had to beg for that. They really had to beg for that, man. But compared to like what the CCP going down there too in China, which was a hot topic once at one time. It was a hot topic. Right here, this was in China. China's beach. Shit. I think they had it. Yeah, the CCP recently told citizens not to travel to Japan because of not going ongoing tensions, so the Chinese flocked to South Korea, which that was such a move that led to Korea's demise politically. Now, there's the rest. Everybody's listening to K-pop. Everybody's playing webtoons, manhwa, and of course, Squid Game and Netflix. That they're still alive, but. Save Korea because they're literally getting colonized by the Chinese. Basically, they're getting colonized right now, just like what's happening right here within South Korea with the CCP shit. Yeah, there have been protests too, in the way. I think where is Takeichi? Yeah, this one right here is another one that'll be important. But that's all. This was in 2025.
100年は2027年。私たちいつまでも寝ぼけたままで良いのでしょうか。で、私平野流、中国の脅威煽っているわけではありません。現実言ってるだけです。煽ってないですからね。これが事実言ってるだけですから。15歳の女の子が強制収容所に入れられています。これは事実です。言ってるだけです。強制労働、拷問、強制不妊手術、集団レイプ、臓器摘出、すべて事実です。事実を言ってるだけです。そして私たちは戦争したいわけではありません。私平野流も中国の脅威煽っていませんし、戦争したい人なんてどこにもいませんが、私たちは中国から侵略をされる側です。だからこそ日本が弱体化したからこそ私たちは危機感を持たなければならない。
Right? So they're talking about the CCP influence that are like they're trying to influence that indoctrination of hatred towards Japan, and they're also like these people who are very brainwashed or trying to do some stupid shit there. But yeah, again, everything's silent, everything's trying to be nice, everything's trying to be dandy, but they're still honking horns, they're still trying to wave the flag, but nothing pretty much happened. But the death of Shinzo Abe pretty much hit the thorn out of that. After that, I think after the death of Shinzo Abe, although Shinzo Abe died in 2024, so the whole micro thing has been around even before Abe died. Has been around since then, so there was pretty much the shit that was there. Like, a German was stunned by the absurd historical perspective Yakuza tribe and Islam brings a distorted aggressive war. Oh, because this bitch was very, very,
这个国是违法的，这个国家有病，应该去听过绅士看看，了解一下怎么日本看二战。这个是我学历史的朋友跟我说的。我去了，但真没想到，这是完全不同的历史。后面这个蛇子这不是中国的吗？这里供奉了11家记账房，把他们当作神。很多人来这里是过来采拜，但是我不是分子，我不是过来采拜的。因为我学中国学，所以我也学过稍微一点，就是中国方面的历史。但是日本人怎么看二战，我确实不知道。不光是不允许拍摄，所以我们只能偷拍。
she's just trying to get. That's the perfect situation. Like they would also do the absurd. They talk about that. Yet again, of course, there's still that big beef between Japan and China, which they still have not taught their children about the crimes they did in China and all that kind of stuff, right? That's still a thing. Ex-chief chairman party's high-ranking official was discovered $400 million RMB. About, God damn, that's a lot of money. Holy shit, that's much. Actually, that's the. Yeah, that's money. That's a whole shit amount of money. I'll tell you that. God damn, that's like a normal day in Ecuador. That's a normal catch in Ecuador right here today. But look at all that amount of cash. That's like a normal day in Latin America. That's literally a normal day in Latin America. It's just you gotta put in the gun, a few guns here, and a few drugs in there. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's funny. It's crazy as hell to see that shit, man. It's funny as hell to crazy to see that shit. To see the whole mind crisis that's happening so frequently into like the country. I mean, it's not well startling too. They're even talking about like, of course they're all for it because half of your family's planning to go to Japan. In reality, the only automation will solve this crisis, not migrants. You need to import them by the millions each year. Like they're talking about this free for fertility, and yet Japan is somehow the only one that needs immigrants, and yet because they're ahead of the curve, dumbass. Without migrant workers who take care of the elderlies and man shops and factories, if anything, they're rather late on allowing migrant workers. Of course, you're all for it because half of your family's planning to go to Japan, right? In reality, I don't know. So what is he really Indonesian? Is that the case? Hold on. Is that really the case? Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, he researched that stuff. Yep, that person's Indonesian who really wanted to go to Japan. That's us, the global Southern people, the niggas of the fire team. I am of the fire team. Japanese, Koreans, and Chinese, Taiwanese, all of East Asians, Orientals, including Mongolians, including parts of Central Asia too, even the Tibetans, right? And parts of Persia. And other light skins, especially to Argentinians who are nothing else but a bunch of white-born Nazis of Latin America. There, I said it. You're all of the ICE team. Set aside designation, and the dream of immigrants is flooding Japan. A dream of immigrants flooding into Japan as overtaking the city, that kind of stuff. They would talk about that. Yeah. And all this is the fact that Takaichi was supposed to do her job, and please respect her job. Again, you had to respect her job. You had to respect somebody's job. Yeah, although if they're saying it's not doing enough, and that's what's going on the behalf of Takaichi. And the job of her is be the person of the word. Otherwise, they'll have to take matters in their own hands. Just like what's going on in Spain. In Spain, they have no choice to take matters in their own hands. And I'm like, God damn! They're going nuts up in this B. No? They really are going nuts up in this B. I wouldn't blame them because they had to go up against that kind of stuff. What do we mean? And third world migrants. If you remove that from our society, our policy will look a lot more like Japan. Never give into mass migration monsters. You stupid mutts don't even know the degeneracy in the West because you're R-word puss-skinned kind. Okay, let's be real. Okay, yeah, this guy's bringing up Americans and all that kind of stuff. If most of the Viets in Australia are Cochin Chinese refugees, unlike Japan, where most of the Viets are from the Tonkinese migrants. However, in recent times, more and more Tonkinese Viets have come into Australia. They're going to ruin the good reputation of the Cochin Chinese Viets in Australia. What? So there's different ethnic groups in Vietnam. God damn. Oh man, the more I know, the more it's just my head's getting blown. It's getting a numb too. So yeah, so that part too. God damn. So pretty much, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is over there. Like to me, it is a flabbergasted kind of thing to talk about. On behalf of the whole migrant crisis thing that's going on, and it's kind of crazy to see that as well. To find out that what they are, what we were thought on YouTube, because I never showed a YouTube video about it because I don't really want to keep on typing all the way, is that they're trying to say they're trying to put the fabrication that Japan's doing a good job, they're trying to keep it homogenous and all that kind of stuff, though even though it's still already majoritively homogenous, right? But because the population is declining, you're gonna have this influx of migrants. And not just that, COVID happened, the death of Shinzo Abe, and Ishiba came into office, and of course the blast of gacha, manga, anime, cosplay that skyrocket around the world, brought the influence, of course brought out the target, Japan being targeted. I mean, I would say this too as well, China also, it might gonna be targeted too, because the massive technology is going out there. And it's also happening in Korea too. That's also happening in South Korea too, that there's a lot of migrants going over there too. It's been like that. It's basically what's happening. It's kind of like you remember seeing the first flux in history. I remember when I was going again in Spain, during my time in Spain, and seeing the history of the of Alhambra and the Moors. Of course, Avila, it'd be the same thing too. The Moors taking over all of Spain, to parts of France, to parts of the Southern European, created the Crusades as a direct response to that, because of the colonization. It'd be the same thing too with the colonization of all the global South, right? All of the global South, when they conquered all of South Asia, when they conquered all of Africa, they conquered all of course, all of the Americas. That'd be the same thing too. So how would they feel? How will you feel? That type of stuff. And the fact that Takaichi, as she was trying to bring in the promises, well, it turns out they're not doing the work as they're doing. Especially, I said this too on behalf of that, is Joey, the anime, and people like the Trash Taste and other foreigners, especially the streamers too, live action streamers. Remember, there's this crazy double standards and profiling of streamers. They're just doing their own thing, but then they also do stupid shit, right? Though there are streamers that are willing to respect, and I think it's been said by these hard right-wing peoples who are race realist type of shit, are saying, we want, if they're trying to bring in migrants, they're gonna have to only bring migrants who are of a similar culture, that type of say. But even they can cause a ruckus. Mind you that. Even they can cause a ruckus. Just like their own Japanese people. Right? I mean, it is insane to see that kind of stuff. I mean, to seeing all these kinds of stuff going down around the world. It is, and also the double standards to that. I mean, shit. That's what it was going on in Salta. That's what's going on with over there in Manila. That happened here the last 4 years in America, which with the administrations, that shit went down. That shit went down hard. That shit went down really hard. And I think too that if there's that in the case necessary, I think we should learn from Alhambra. Learn it from Alhambra that things can work. Things can work out, especially too, man. There's no, like that you can coexist in a way, or learn from can't repeat what Europe has done. I mean, Europe basically just let them to die, basically, pretty much. But that's it two-way, guys. I think we already reached this stuff. I already did a long speech about it. I've been trying to, even though I try to find the most Japanese videos, but it looks like they're pretty much gone right now. As this point on, they're pretty. I showed you as much as I can We run the Vietnam from the Vietnamese. I saw you much as I can on the stuff that's going on. Morocco, please. Is that what the LDP is accepting more Muslim? Oh shit! I hold up a second. Yes, you got to see this too. I forgot this part. I forgot this part. Yeah, look. Here's this one thing. Is this the Japan that the LDP is aiming for? The LDP is steadily accepting more and more Muslim immigrants. There's no country that see all that stuff, right? All that stuff. But like again, this is already it. The Japan migrant issue. It was August the 10th. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you like this topic that I brought up upon. Even though I was working along with my graphic designing that I was working around. I was trying to make a background, although it looks like pretty much a simple shit. But you do your, I hope you guys enjoy what I have. I hope you get to see my vector work too, and later on the streams or later on the days. And I hope I'm trying to also finish up my trying to get this thing going on the request. On top of that, it's already what, 3 hours? I should have already finished this shit already. Oh my god. I'm supposed to care for my father right now because they're doing this stuff. I also gotta pray for him. I gotta pray for him because, I have my father's is doing surgery, so I pray for him. I pray for everybody. I pray for myself too to not fall into that. Trying to take care of ourselves. We all have to take care of ourselves. Remember, never have too many intakes. Eat. If you're going to get something addictive, buy something that is healthy for you and get addicted to that. And also exercise. Everything has a limit, everything has to come in a limit, and no matter you like it or not. Maybe that sounds too rough, maybe it sounds too stupid, who knows. But I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Like, subscribe to my channel. I'm Element Reptile. We see you. I bless you. Arigato gozaimasu. BB.